So I was doing a Google search today for unemployment rates, and I found some pretty interesting data. Turns out Google has unemployment rates. Right, so I press enter. Turns out that Google has this thing called public data. There it is, public data. And you can visualize all sorts of interesting data that's made available really easily. So let's click on this and see what we can find here. Here we have the unemployment rate, percent of the labor force that is unemployed, not seasonally adjusted, and then there's more info which explains the information behind it. I'll leave the information behind that to some videos by Sal Khan. For now, let's just play around with the data and see what we can get out of it. So you can see, it's a pretty nice graph. You can click on everything, and it gives you pretty much a month-by-month output of the exact numbers, not seasonally adjusted. So let's see what we can find. I found some pretty interesting data. I am presently living in Maryland, so I'd be interested to see what the Maryland data looks like. And oh, that's not so bad. Maryland, traditionally, we can see that the percent of the labor force in Maryland is traditionally has a higher employment rate or a lower unemployment rate than the U.S. average. Doing particularly well from around 2000 to 2008, and then of course the unemployment shot up, but we're still below the U.S. average. And that's great. I live in Maryland, so that's nice to know. What really becomes interesting is you can look at this data by county, by all the different counties in Maryland. So presently I live in Baltimore County. So there we can see in yellow Baltimore County, Maryland. And if you click on it, it highlights it, and you can see that it's still a little bit below the all U.S. average, and if we want to get rid of that, we can compare the two more directly and see that it follows the Maryland line pretty closely. All right, so that's Baltimore County, Maryland. What about Baltimore City? Because Baltimore City, Baltimore County, that's interesting. Turns out Baltimore City is consistently higher by, about 4 points, it would seem, 3-4 points, than Baltimore County and Maryland in general. In some places it's significantly higher, like here in about 97, 98, it was significantly higher. And then towards 2008, it started to get low, and then now it's I guess, relatively closer than it has been in the past to these two. That's Baltimore County and Baltimore City. Then I was just clicking around some of the other counties, and I found this one out here at the end, Worcester County. Now, look at the fluctuations in unemployment in Worcester County, Maryland. The fluctuations are pretty absurd. They're 15 to 20% fluctuations. 20.7% unemployment in January 91, and we follow all the way down here. And July 91, it's 4% unemployment. And then January 92, we're up to 22.5. And next one is July 92, we're down to 5.1%. And then, 21% in January 93, and 4.6% in July 93. There's this huge fluctuation, it seems, between the summer months and the winter months. And I was wondering, why is this? I mean, I don't know anything about Worcester, Maryland. I've never been there before. I couldn't even point to it on a map, to tell you the truth. So what I did, highlight Worcester County, I copied it. I'm using Google Chrome right now, so I'm just going to right-click on the bar there and go paste and search. And then the results page comes up. And of course I'm going to go to the good old Wikipedia article on Worcester County, Maryland, and click that, and it gives me some information on it. And here's a nice map. If I click on that map, maybe it'll enlarge. Yeah, there we go. So I can see, it's really close to the shore, which, might account for something, because in the summer months the unemployment is very low, meaning lots of people are employed, probably because people are coming to the shore during the summer and not going to the shore during the winter. That's an initial guess, but let's see if we can find some more data to back that up. So the Wikipedia article is useful. I would encourage you to, glance over it, but take everything with a grain of salt, although this one seems to be pretty legitimate. What's really interesting is down here, right here, American Fact Finder, United States Census Bureau. That's where all this data is being kept, and that's where some of the data from the Google graphs I showed before is being pulled from. So I click American Fact Finder, and then I want to find information about this Worcester County, Maryland. So I just copy-pasted it, and of course it is in Maryland. So I'll go Maryland, and I'll click Go. And here's the information, you know, let's see if we can magnify that. 2006, 2008 American Community Survey 3-year estimates, data profile highlights, social characteristics, average household size, average family size, population 25 and older, so on and so on. And then there's a bunch of other stuff. There's economic characteristics, which is kind of what we're interested in here, because remember I had said the guess was because it's close to the shore, probably a lot of seasonal workers, and that would explain the huge fluctuations. So let's click on Show More and see what we have. All right. So occupation, here we go, down here at the bottom, occupation. See if I can't magnify that a little bit. There we go. Occupation. Okay. Here it gets interesting. So we find that, let's see, management, professional, and related occupations, 32%. 20.4% are in service occupations, sales and office, farming, fishing, very small percent. And then we see by industry, and we can see the biggest percentage by industry is these two guys right here. Educational services and healthcare and social assistance, arts, entertainment, recreation, accommodation, and food services. Now, because they're living close to the shore, I thought, okay, this is probably going to be a big one. And indeed, look at this. It's about 19.2%. So of the people in Worcester County, 19.2% of them are employed in arts, entertainment, recreation, and accommodation, which would make sense. With an error of about 3%, you're talking about maybe 16 to 23% of the people employed, and that kind of fits in with the about 15 to 16% fluctuation we saw on the graph. So that's just showing how you can real quick find really interesting information using the resources available online. And I'll have links in the sidebar so you can explore some of this stuff on your own.